This video is sponsored by Anke Studio. I don't know why Ubuntu server, every time it boots from, I guess, a fresh boot, it disables my networking interface, so I gotta figure that out. Listen, I just came back from a Porsche trip, a production trip with them. It was amazing. I brought my P16 with me, but the truth is that, well, I sadly had to use Windows during that trip. Yep. And I promise I'll talk about it. I'll talk about that. And I know today was supposed to be our week in the life for the S26 Ultra. That's coming in the next few weeks. It is an unbelievable video. I already finished editing it and everything, but because Porsche has an embargo, I couldn't upload it today, so my bad. But it was either that video or this video. Actually, not this video, sorry. This video, because I've been using Linux for the past 120 days. 120 days ago, I switched to Linux, and I thought I had found the perfect system, but then real life started happening. Trips, like lots and lots of trips. In fact, after switching to ZorinOS from PopOS, for some reason my NVIDIA drivers just decided to not work. Installing DaVinci also made it nearly impossible until now, well, things aren't working properly. Now I have no issues sitting down and troubleshooting. I mean, I love that. But the problem is that the more work piles up, the more trips we take for production, the less time I have to troubleshoot. Because the reality is that sometimes I just need a laptop to work. And that is something that I can't always get on Linux. You see, I took a MacBook Pro to my S26 Ultra trip reveal not long ago. It's what I used to edit a lot of the videos I needed to produce there. And then when I left to Finland for Porsche to shoot for them and shoot our S26 Ultra week in the life, well, I brought my P16. However, I found myself constantly using Windows. By the way, the only true reason right now at this moment I'm not using Linux is because my NVIDIA drivers are kind of messed up and I need to edit on DaVinci at the moment, so I keep just going back to Windows. But if you haven't watched my Linux video, Windows and Linux live in two separate SSDs, and it's really cool because now I have like no conflicts with dual booting or anything like that. So it's just my suggestion to you guys, just run those two in complete separate SSDs. So yeah, I mean, welcome to my reality. As much as sometimes I feel like just grabbing a Mac and sticking to that, the truth is that I'm not done. You see, I fell in love with Linux so much that I decided to build a budget, go on Facebook Marketplace, and build a real server. All of this after I spent days using my ThinkPad as a dummy tester. And last week I spent hours building it. I spent time using the MacBook Neo like you guys saw, trying to troubleshoot Ubuntu. And I love that. I love the fact that if something like my LAN port doesn't work, I can easily figure it out and make it work. I just love the control. I love that for the most part there is really no bloat. I love that because I've pushed myself so much to learn about Linux, I've been able to build a real server. It's also fast, it's customizable, it's clean. In a lot of ways, it feels better than macOS. And it's opened a whole new world for me to implement systems to help me through my everyday life. And so really, this is why I switched. But I think the main challenge has been getting it to be stable. And to be honest, a lot of it has to do with my NVIDIA GPU. I don't know if you guys remember, but the main reason I broke PopOS a few months ago is because I was trying so hard to make sleep mode work. It's a bug on Linux that drives me absolutely crazy, and it seems like it more specifically happens with Asus laptops. Now this would force me to always have to shut off my computer, and sometimes even shutting it off would not work. And imagine, I've left this in bags.
on by accident, by the way, and eventually when I would take it out, my bag was smoking hot, and the laptop, well, obviously, it was dead. And I've done tons of research on the side before giving up or changing laptops, but the matter of the fact is that NVIDIA is rough to run on Linux. There's always bugs. However, I just recently heard that the new NVIDIA drivers might be worth a shot. Now I'm kind of regretting my decision of switching to ZorinOS because really PopOS ran super well and I was able to play games without an issue. Although sleep mode didn't work at all and I felt like it was handicapping me, switching to ZorinOS made it worse.
Listen, I really don't know if I made the right call. Let me show you one of the bugs I've been dealing with recently. So my laptop screen is connected to my main monitor, right? Now, if I try to move the window on the main monitor, as you can see, it won't even go to the laptop. So yeah, now I can't even bring my cursor to the laptop either. And when I try to control the brightness of that screen, it won't even work. So that's great. Technically, it's acting like the laptop is frozen, yet I can still control the laptop through the second monitor. And like, check this out, even if I try to rearrange the screens, it won't even go into the settings. Yep, let's disconnect it, turn up this brightness, and there you have it. Well, DaVinci crashed, which I tried to open multiple times. I mean, it's just not a stable system, and there are many other bugs that just drive me insane sometimes.
With that, dual monitor randomly not working properly, scaling issues, sometimes docks are not even recognized, random UI glitches with ZorinOS where mouse cursors, they just love to jump from time to time. I also have super random system behavior, like for example, weird freezes, or the one I mentioned earlier where my laptop wouldn't even shut down. I think overall for the 120 days I've had it, those have been my main concern.
I also just want to mention, like, every distro has its own little quirks. Like for example, with ZorinOS, I've been running into this issue where Chrome doesn't install web apps really, so it's not Chrome's fault, it's more likely Linux. Apps like Chrome are sometimes like sandbox, which basically means they are locked in a box. So technically Chrome literally isn't allowed to create app shortcuts on your system. Now there are ways to fix that, which I just did, but it's just it just can be annoying. You know, I'm just trying to fix things that like, I don't know, they worked on PopOS and now all of a sudden they don't work on ZorinOS. Yeah.
And all of this, I wondered, maybe this is just not the laptop for me. Like maybe it's the computer for me in the sense that I can have a desktop at home running Linux primarily. The same goes with my server. I mean, even apps I need to run on the server, I'm currently about to run them on a Windows VM that runs on Linux. As much as I love to tinker with stuff and as much as I love being somewhat of a dev, at the end of the day, I need to get work done, so I need a computer that just works. And the fact that apps like the Adobe Suite don't work on it makes me always need to take a step back and log onto Windows to get some of that work done. I think for a laptop, okay, for a Linux laptop, it's just not there just yet. The last thing you want is to be abroad and having to troubleshoot your laptop because something broke. And that's where the reliability of Linux, well, it starts to sort of fall apart little by little. If you need things to just work, macOS is almost like the perfect OS. More specifically, when you can get some really good battery life out of it and full performance without having to plug in your laptop to feed that power-hungry GPU. Especially on a laptop like this one with an RTX 5090. I need to constantly bring this massive power brick around. And if I travel, I put it in my carry-on, but it can suck because it takes a lot of room. It's not like an Apple brick, you know? You can literally take the smallest brick and all you're giving up is charging speed. So I love that about MacBooks. Because, like I said, if you want to take full advantage of a laptop like this, you need to feed this bad boy. But yeah, this here is my ProArt P16. You guys always ask what laptop I'm using as my daily. Well, this is it. It's definitely taken a few beatings. I mean, the material is just not it, in my opinion. I've been throwing it a lot in bags with camera gear and so on. And well, it shows. The wear shows. I've very much destroyed this chassis in a way. But no dents or anything like that, so I'm very happy. In fact, it's actually quite a sturdy laptop. And I love the fact that I don't need a dongle with this. I've got an SD card slot, a USB-A port if needed, and a super fast USB-C port I mainly use to transfer footage from my SSD when I'm abroad. I also use it with my charger at home when I forget my massive break at the office. I plug it in and no matter the OS, it charges. It charges slow, but it charges. My Ryzen AI 9HX 3070 along with the 5090 and 64GB of RAM, I guess, we can say that they all work together to power up this OLED display that runs at 120Hz. It's a gorgeous display when I can take advantage of it, although I just realized that sometimes the blacks are sort of grainy, so the display isn't perfect at all. But honestly, I love it. I love that the wear on the trackpad and on the keyboard don't show too much up to now. Nothing compared to the outside, of course. And I also love that I was able to insert a second M.2 NVMe that I used to run Linux only. So yeah, I don't dual boot this within the same M.2. I do think I need to take somewhat of a step back and probably use something I'm a bit more familiar with. So I might be going back to Ubuntu. I think it might be the right distro for me because the reality is that I don't want to give up on Linux yet, especially with the future that NVIDIA drivers seem to be creating for themselves. And really, PopOS was so close to being perfect that I believe it in. I believe in Linux. I believe that pairing this with my S26 Ultra and having the ability to use local send, WhatsApp, messages, Google Keep, all of them, they can just give me the ecosystem I need in order to get work done no matter what. Listen, I'm super open to ideas. I'm open to hearing your thoughts. I really want to know if you guys have any tips for me, really. This has been my 120 days experience with Linux. More to come, I promise.